Welcome back to the 44th installment of Swan's Japanese Horror Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at a title which I've gotten literally hundreds of emails over the past 2 years asking for me to review this one. So here it is at last. Uzumaki. Uzumaki began life as a manga series from creator Junji. Now you might be familiar with that name as he is also the creator of the Tomie series. So the story follows this young girl, Kirie, and she's living in this seaside town in Japan, and strange things begin to happen. Spirals are appearing all over the town, and they're causing people to do very odd and bizarre things. So right away we have a very kind of really out there story, and it could allow for some really creepy elements. Now the comics have done very well all over the world. They were, I think they won an Eisner Award here in the States. They're being released by Viz, who coincidentally also released the DVD. So the source material is great, and you can't fault that. I have not read the comics, but I was just watching this movie with my brother, and he has read some of the manga, but he told me right away that this movie deviates somewhat, at times heavily, from the original source material. I'll just come out and say it right away. I was left partially disappointed by Uzumaki. Now, I've heard so many people rant and rave about this one, and I've heard so much praise given to this one, but for me, the movie didn't really come together as a whole. So, I'll try to explain why. For me, it seemed like the movie was unsure of where it wanted to go. Yes, there are some really creepy moments in there, especially near the end, but there's such a slow build-up to get to these moments that I'm not sure if it's always worth it. Now, obviously, you've seen by the number of reviews I've done in my collection, I'm used to the slow-burning techniques of the Japanese horror films. I'm not expecting, a slasher to jump out at every instance and every turn, and I'm okay with that. But for me, the wait didn't justify the results. Coupled with the fact that this movie seems preoccupied with using a lot of special camera editing techniques and CG graphics, and sometimes they look kinda cool, but most of the time it just looks stupid and out of place. Like when there's this scene where this fog is coming down, it just looks really, really poor. You could counter-argue that by saying, well, it's based on a comic, it's supposed to be looking fantastical, it's not supposed to look that real. But when some of the other effects look really, really good, some certain ones do stand out as looking particularly poor. Another complaint I have is that the movie seems to jump between really wanting to be this creepy, atmospheric film, which it does by having like a green hue all throughout the movie, and it focuses on snails and all these spirals and really creepy instances, which is cool. And then it kind of dives into this like strange romantic subplot between the main character and this guy who I'm still not sure is a woman or not. The jury's still out. Sorry. And it just doesn't hold up. And to be honest, I've not read the comics, so I'm not sure what happens in the end, but I can tell you right now, and this isn't a spoiler, but I was not satisfied with the ending of this movie because I just left saying one word, what? And that was it. A lot of the times the scenes were laughable. The acting, Reno Sugi's in there, one of my favorite actors who's appeared in a lot of Takashi Miike films. He was in there, but like the lead roles played by all of the young actors, just as a whole was not convincing, and so I just felt it was silly. But having said all that, I want to convey that there are some cool parts in this film, and there are a few scenes which I thought were really well done and really creepy and really established a nice mood. So I wish I could enjoy this movie more than I did, and I wish I could like wholeheartedly recommend it, but at the end of the day I can't. It just didn't all form together as a coherent piece of film for me. There is a 10-minute behind-the-scenes feature and this weird 5 or 6 minute special feature, like with footage that was shot in the movie. You'd have to watch the movie to understand, and a trailer, and that's it, and that's fine. It's standard DVD. So, nothing to complain about there. So, that's Uzumaki for you. Now, I know, not the glowing review that maybe some of you expected, but I'm just telling you how I see them. So, Not my favorite film. I can't foresee myself watching this one again, which is a shame because the creepy moments in there that do come across well are done exceptionally well, and they're done fantastic. So it's a shame that they're so few and far between in this film. Give it a shot. So that's my 2 cents.